bringing this to life a bit with how you can scale your marketing with HubSpot AI. I will be leaving time for questions, so you're welcome to either use the Q&A function, or if you want just to unmute yourself at the end of the session. Also, it would be great to see some faces and interact there. So Matthew already kindly introduced me, but just to give a little bit more insight there, I'm Anna, I'm head of HubSpot for Startups for UK and Ireland. And really my goal is to help startups grow better with the right knowledge, tools, and connections needed to scale. As Matthew said before, HubSpot, I was in Enterprise Ireland. So yeah, I've seen lots of different businesses at different stages, have helped them with their sales and marketing. And really HubSpot, we were initially founded, we kind of coined the term inbound. We were initially founded purely as that inbound marketing automation platform. And we have really scaled into, into sales, into service, etc. But that really is our foundation. So excited to share some of the best practices from HubSpot today, and hopefully give you some insights and some tips to take away to your own businesses. So just to give you a little bit of insight on HubSpot for Startups as well before I start. So through HubSpot for Startups, we offer educational resources and tailored training. So we do a lot of webinars, some in-person events in London as well. And then with our top partners, such as Entrepreneurs Collective, we would do these kind of customized education sessions based on what's in demand from the community. We also have an integrated platform for entrepreneurs with access to over 1,000 startup integrations and an app partner program. And last but not least, we do have professional software entrepreneur pricing. So we do have access to discounts on HubSpot if you're part of one of our approved partners, such as Entrepreneurs Collective. So if you do want to learn more and apply for HubSpot for Startups, I'll have this QR code at the end as well. But as Matthew mentioned, this is a great discount of 30% on HubSpot. So I'll just leave that there for a moment. Even if you're not ready to get started with the paid tools, you can get access to some great kind of free HubSpot tools, and also like some of the AI tools I'll be going into today. They're currently in public beta, so you can try out some of those great tools, like generate blogs with AI and generate other content formats with AI as well. So just to kind of to kick us off, I know it's the evening, it's 6:15 here in Ireland. It might be a bit later for some other folks. I'd love for people to just have a little think and write down yourself your top 3 challenges that you currently are facing with marketing. Ideally content marketing, but if you want to write down other things as well, that's fine. So if you want to just do this yourself, if you get a pen and paper or have a think and write this down, I'll just give it about 30 seconds. And I was going to say, Anthony, you jumped ahead of me there. I was going to say, if people want to think about it and then join, and please do, if you have like one that you want to share in the chat, that would be great. So good to hear your challenges generating content, because that's what we're all about today. If anyone else wants to share, could be generating content, be measuring the success of your campaigns, creativity, finding your style, Enrique, variety of tools, selections of channels, and costs. Nice. Just give it a sec if anyone else wants to share. Okay, well, looks like you're in the right place anyway. So if you do want to just have a think on that, we'll kind of come back to that at the end. So just to level set a bit in terms of what is content marketing, I always like to start with the what and the why. So content marketing is the process of consistently publishing relevant content that audiences actually want to consume in order to reach, engage, and convert new customers. And why content marketing? Again, I always want to start with that why. So content marketing costs 62% less than traditional marketing. I did get this stat. I know it can depend on the type of content marketing. This is hugely variable. And also with content marketing, that ROI does take longer, but you can see once you start to invest in content marketing, you will see that ROI over time. Again, HubSpot is a large company. It can be different for a small business, but we've really invested in this content marketing for years, and I've really seen the dividends there. Content marketing can produce 3 times more leads per dollar invested. and 70% of consumers say content marketing makes them feel closer to the sponsoring company. So just a few things there on the why. So I'm going to just kind of, again, level set a bit in terms of a 7-step content marketing strategy. But because of the interest of time, we're not going to focus on all of this today. I am really going to be focusing on determining content and formats, and also how you can use AI to really to optimize that and to save you time, again, as a startup. So in terms of that 7-step strategy, where you want to take a step back and determine what are your content marketing goals. So this could be like if you're launching a new newsletter, maybe your goal is to increase subscribers there. Maybe your goal is to have a series of webinars to really educate consumers in your product, because it's something completely new that you're launching and you think that people want an understanding of there. So always defining what your goals are depending on the content that you're creating. Identifying your target audience. So I always talk about buyer personas in my presentations. I won't go into it in too much detail, but I really do think a buyer persona is the cornerstone of any kind of good marketing or sales strategy. So yeah, always thinking of that whenever you're creating not just a big marketing campaign for like any piece of content you're creating. When HubSpot was first founded, as I mentioned, we were purely like 17 years ago now, we were purely a inbound marketing automation platform. We had one marketing persona called Marketing Mary, because we were selling to small marketing businesses. Then fast forward today, that marketing persona has evolved over time and become Marketing Michelle. And we have multiple personas for different lines of our business, because we have, sales software, service software, etc. So rethinking of your buyer persona, and also even if you've already, had the persona maybe created that 6 months ago, a year ago, that is kind of a live thing that you should think of over time. Next, kind of conducting a content audit. So I know we might have people here at different stages of their business. So maybe you're starting completely from scratch, but some of you might already have certain types of content. So really knowing what you have, like what blogs have you already produced, or have you tried out like ebooks, like what content you already have. And also that will help you to know, are there pieces of content that you might be able to repurpose? Like with HubSpot, again, like we have blogs that we might have created years ago, but then we can refresh them rather than completely starting from scratch. Or we have ebooks, say we maybe spent like a lot of time and money on an ebook, and we can take an omni-channel approach there and repurpose that for social media, for blogs, for different types of content. So really, as a startup, yeah, trying to think of doing more with less and rethinking of what you already have and how you can lean in there. Or if you're starting from scratch, that's totally okay. Choosing a CMS. So I will be going more so into the AI tool side of things, but rethinking how are you going to create this content? Like what tools are you going to use? That could be your content management system. Like if you maybe use WordPress, or HubSpot do have a CMS as well. Selecting their content channels. So what channels are you ultimately going to use to promote this content? So there's the typical, social media channels. There's obviously like TikTok, LinkedIn, etc. So redetermining what channels you're going to use. These could be the big social media channels, or again, depending on your business, if you have a really specific buyer persona, are there specific places or channels where those personas live and you want to really engage on those ones? Determining content and formats. I'll go into this in a minute. And then last but not least, publishing and monitoring your content. So I'll go into this a bit at the end, but it's all well and good to spend all this time creating this content, experimenting here and there. But really you want to see like what were your goals to begin with, and what is performing, what isn't performing. So where do you want to double down your strategy versus maybe realizing that maybe a certain content type didn't resonate with your persona, or the dollars spent just weren't worth your time. So really thinking of that as well. So to go into some assets and plays now. So determining what type of content you want to create. So it can be quite overwhelming. And as I said, like I always preface this again, like it does really depend on your persona. It depends on your business model. So say but I've just like listed some different types of content here. One thing I would say is try to experiment with different types of content from different stages of the funnel. So here we have, top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, or I also sometimes say it as like, if buyers are at like that awareness versus consideration versus decision stage. So try to think of the type of content you want to create kind of in these buckets. So more top of the funnel content might be, creating blog posts, different videos, infographics. Middle of funnel might be more like ebooks and white papers, case studies where you're comparing your product or service with another one, webinars. So obviously this is one that HubSpot for Startups. We do quite a lot of webinars. And then the bottom of the funnel being more so like testimonials, customer stories, etc. So just really thinking of that, and not because sometimes I do find maybe some businesses might fall into the trap of like only creating, say, they're like, oh, we want to sell all these things, we're going to create all these great product focused content and testimonials, but you're not able to nurture people at that beginning of the funnel and really educate them on your product or service. So today I'm kind of going to go into kind of examples from each stage of this. And one thing I'd say as well, and I'll show you later, is obviously AI can also help you determine what kind of content you want to create. So if you're like, oh, I want to, give me ideas for, creating content for a fintech buyer based on the latest trends in fintech. Like it can really help you to optimize that and stay on top of those latest trends. So I'll go into a couple of examples here that I've seen some companies. So as I said, kind of picking one from each. So first of all, the blog. So this would be more like those kind of awareness stage where people maybe have come across, like they're Googling certain terms to do with your business and you've done your keyword research, so they found you. This would really be at that educate stage. So here's just an example from an Irish company I know called Alien. They have a technical, news API, so it is a very technical product. But you can see here they've got quite an easy kind of list format of 10 news API concepts and features explained. So this is going, as I said, for that persona where maybe they've been, researching, like what are news API concepts, or like that really early stage of the funnel. So you're driving potential buyers to your website through this educational content. There are tons of examples of HubSpot doing this as well. Like we have a lot of content on, what is a CRM, what like content marketing, what is that, like things like that in terms of attracting people at that earlier stage when they don't know what they want yet. Maybe they're looking for those kind of defining terms. The video tutorial, so this can be one of the most effective ways to educate your audience while offering something of immediate value. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world behind Google. So again, video can be expensive. There are lower cost ways of doing that as well. And I know there are AI tools for this as well, of course. So like Synthesia, AI do have like sales enablement videos and product demo videos that you can use there. But really thinking of ways to engage through not just written format, but also video, because people do want to consume. I think I have here, 83% of marketers now say that video gives them a good ROI, and more than 50% of consumers, they want to see video content more than any other type of content from brands. So again, this can depend on your consumer, on your persona, but I do think for me personally as well, like I do want to consume videos or like shorter form content. So that kind of longer form blog may not always be a fit. The killer use case. So this is more at that kind of bottom of the funnel, or kind of more when someone's making more of a decision and they want to kind of evaluate what the different options are. So the killer use case is kind of making the goal of this, kind of making someone understand why they need something like this while building trust. So again, this is an example from Alien, the Irish company I mentioned earlier. And this is a really great use case. Like it's one from Revolut. They're already showing, oh, a large company like Revolut uses us. This is how they implemented it. They're really bringing that to life. So really thinking of case studies. Again, it can be something kind of low cost to implement, and you can really help drive net new business. Last but not least, the webinar. This can be used for different stages of the funnel. I'd say at the awareness stage can be really great, as I said, for educating your audience. So these are, obviously you're on a webinar with me now. Here's a couple of other examples of ones we've done before. So we did one on how to pitch to VCs with our venture arm. We did a co-marketing webinar with BBD Boom on leveraging AI for SEO. Again, that's something you can do, is like partner with other brands to help to reach their audiences. And then you can also do webinars more at that bottom of the funnel. So say if it's like, again, when we do there is like we do webinars on HubSpot versus Salesforce. So those kind of comparison webinars. So you can also do things like that as you scale up. So again, this is like if you can spin something like this up on, if you have your own, depending on the tools you're using, like HubSpot, you can create landing pages, or you can spin something up on Eventbrite pretty easily as well. So another kind of great way to kind of think about another, as a startup, like an easy way to kind of create content. So that all sounds well and good, Anna, but weren't we talking about using AI? So just to talk through how you can implement some of this. So really the immense strain that content teams and startups and founders are under to keep up has been a driving force between the adoption of AI by enterprise. And really, you think about AI, it really is a co-pilot to help you create content and help you like do more with less as a startup. So it really can kind of level that playing field a bit for maybe startups who don't have as much budget or time to create all this content or necessarily keep on top of the latest trends. So it can really help you get ahead and maintain that kind of competitive advantage. So just a little bit of more interaction here. How many hours do you think AI tools save marketing teams per week? So if you want to just guess, or you can just say teams, again, if you're a smaller team, but just any number per week, if you want to pop on the chat. I'll give everyone a minute. 4 to 5, 2, 10, 15, we're going up and up. 70%. All right, so just give it a few more seconds. Cool. Thanks, everyone. So there's a variety of answers there. This is actually who was closest. So it was between Enrique and Will. So it is actually quite high. I suppose it can depend on the team, obviously, and who is actually using it. But they can give marketing teams back 12.5 hours per week. So here's a couple of ways. This is a survey based on, was it 1,500 business professionals across marketing, sales, and service. But these are a couple of ways that they're using AI. So using it to write a few paragraphs and expand on it. Some use it to write entire piece of content. You can see that's much lower. Since early days, people are going to be using AI more so to help as like edit existing content rather than entirely new forms of content. You can see there people using it for ideas and inspiration, and then using it to create an outline. So you can see there by the percentages, a lot of it there is kind of that ideate and outline stage and refining content rather than entire new pieces. But you can see there, it does seem like quite a lot, but it really can save you a lot of time if used correctly. And then another question, so what type of marketing content do you think AI is most helpful for creating? So what type of marketing content? So could be, when I talk about type, it's more like, say, is it emails, is it social, is it blogs? Some of those kind of, I know I mentioned a bunch earlier. So what type of content? Social media text, LinkedIn posts, blogging, social, email. Nice. Thanks, everyone. So actually 58% of marketers say AI is most helpful with generating social media posts. So people actually did mention that a lot. So you can see there kind of that's 58%, and then people are using a lot for product descriptions. emails, images, and blog posts. You can see here just some ideas for ways that other folks are using it and ways you could implement in your own business. So I will be going into blogging is low. Yeah, I'm actually surprised how low blogging is on 35%. But I do think it's a really helpful one that AI can help with. So I will be going into that. Um, so now I'll kind of go into some of these key ones and how AI can actually help there. So I'm going to go into kind of 4 ways that you could use AI in based on these kind of top ways that people are using AI. And then I will go into it live in the HubSpot tool as well, just so you know we're doing on time. So AI can help you with content research and blogging. So can help you generate ideas for blog posts, marketing copy, and product descriptions, which really can be particularly helpful for smaller teams with limited resources for content creation. So i.e. obviously as a startup. Um, it can help with image creation. So AI-based image creators have proven really helpful for small teams who, if you don't have a graphic designer or limited image resources. There's a couple of examples here. I will also show you kind of an image creation tool in HubSpot. And then you can also use AI for both like for image creation and generation, but also for editing and enhancing images. Again, something that would have been difficult for startups before. When we talk about this goes for both image creation and content creation. So if I'm always hearing this, but it really is all about prompts. So if you're like me, you probably have experimented with, ChatGPT and different tools. And something that you would probably have heard a lot is it really is all about prompts. When you're talking to that AI tool, this goes, as I said, both for text and for images. You can see here, obviously, with images, very visual. So got here an example from Jasper AI. So on the left, we've got, an impressionist painting of an older man under a blanket sitting next to a fireplace, peaceful, calm. Then on the right, we've got an impressionist painting of an older man under a blanket sitting next to a fireplace, bright, rich, spirited. So just a very visual representation of how prompts can affect the output. So just really think of AI as an iterative process. So maybe if you input that one on the left and you didn't get what you wanted, then changing that. Same with text, like if you did a prompt for in ChatGPT or in one of HubSpot's tools and didn't get what you want, it is that iterative process. So getting more refined, being really specific in terms of what your goal is with that prompt, that can really help. Email marketing. So AI can suggest copy for both sales and marketing emails or suggest edits for existing content. So I've just got kind of a GIF there of drafting a sales email in HubSpot. I'll let that play for a second. So it's just draft an email to promote our new product. That's just loading there. Hopefully I saved that GIF correctly. If you can see there, drafted that email. I will show this live in HubSpot. But you can also do this live within the email tool in HubSpot. So here I've just got generating content, an introduction email, selling something pretty fun, helicopter tours of Hawaii. Who are you selling to? So you can see there, can really save you time both on the sales and the marketing side. So what do you want to communicate in this email? Let that go for a second. And then selecting the tone. So again, I'll go into this live in HubSpot in a minute to bring this to life. Same with marketing emails, I'll show this live. Last but not least, we did see social media as one of kind of the top ways that people are using AI. There's this kind of like handy short form content. You can use AI to create social media content across various platforms. I will be going into this shortly as well, but just do make sure obviously you're reviewing the outputs of that and personalizing it to your brand as well. I think especially on LinkedIn, you can kind of tell sometimes when it's purely AI generated content and you do just want to make sure again that it reflects your brand and it's not just like kind of very boring or bland content. And again, social media, as I mentioned before, and repurposing your content, it can be really great for that kind of omni-channel approach. So if you're creating, a social media post based on an ebook, again, I've listed a couple of tools there. But HubSpot, we do have a AI tool, which I'll show you as well. So just a little bit now, just to bring this to life, as I've mentioned a bunch of tools there. There are lots of different ones out there you can try. You can also just, start using ChatGPT for idea generation and stuff like that. But just to bring this to life a bit, I'm going to tell you a little bit about HubSpot and then give you a bit of a walkthrough of how you can use HubSpot AI to do those things like generating blogs and social media posts, etc. So just what is HubSpot, first of all, for those who don't know? So HubSpot is a customer platform that's all connected through a smart CRM. So we each basically have different hubs to optimize each stage of the buyer's journey. So our CRM connects everything with our contact records and company records, and then we have different software for managing your sales, managing your marketing, and then ultimately managing your customers and turning them into kind of promoters or evangelists of your product or service. So there is a lot with HubSpot. Just kind of to level set there, but I will be going into just purely a couple of our kind of marketing AI tools. We do have a free version of HubSpot where you can get access to, if at the moment you're kind of managing things in a Google Sheet or Excel, or if you just want to kind of try out some of our free AI tools, they are in public beta at the moment. So just to note there, if you do want to kind of get started with the free version, you can use that QR code I kind of shared earlier and which I'll share again. So just to kind of note there. So with HubSpot, so HubSpot actually has, I know Gen AI is obviously all the buzz now, and it really has opened up a lot of new possibilities to generate content. But HubSpot has been using, AI for years and kind of have implemented this across our software in terms of things like data enrichment, predictive lead scoring, conversation intelligence, that would be the likes of analyzing your sales calls and then like automating note taking and suggestive follow-ups and stuff like that. But last year we really engineered Gen AI across our platform. So introduced ChatSpot, which is a sales AI tool, and Content Assistant really as kind of the marketing part of our AI tools. But now we're really investing in more kind of AI use cases and innovation. So things like predictive sales forecasting, being able to build your website entirely with AI, and then really moving forward from, we had like just what we call content assistant, and now we're really moving into AI assistant. So we're using obviously OpenAI as the underlying technology behind all of this, but coupled with the power and kind of the data of HubSpot. So really with HubSpot's AI assistants, they help anyone in your team ideate, create, and share content. So I'll go into just a couple of, oh, one sec. It's just here. Can you still see my screen there, Matt? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. Sorry, just have a always with the live demo. Okay, perfect. So as I said before, in terms of that ideation piece, so if you do want to use, you can also use ChatGPT for this as well. But say if you want to use ChatSpot, which is our sales AI tool, if you do want to think of like, say, if you're deciding on what type of content to create. So if you want to say, maybe give me the top 3 preferred types of content for B2B marketers in the UK. Let's just let that load there. As you can see here, they've given a couple of examples. So case studies, white papers, webinars. This is quite specific, or this is quite generic. So if you do want to get more specific, you could drill into that in a bit more detail, but just a kind of a brief idea of how you might want to use AI in that kind of initial kind of thought stage of what kind of type of content you want to create. If we go into using AI to regenerate those blog posts, so here I've just gone into the blog post section in the marketing part of HubSpot. And you can see here for anything, if you're ever looking for anything related to AI, we've got this nice little icon here. So here I'm just going to say generate blog post, blog topic or idea. So we're going to do since we're doing content marketing course, we can do content marketing. Content marketing ideas for SaaS founders. As you can see here, you can also create your country of target audience. So this can be optimized for SEO keyword research. So here we'll do in the UK. And then we'll click next. And you can see here, it'll suggest different blog post titles. Just give this a second to load. And then you can see here, have a bunch of suggested different titles and then difficulty to rank. I think I haven't got all this, this is just my demo portal, but say you could also, so you've got like 5 suggestions there. You could also suggest to generate more if these aren't satisfactory, but maybe here we'll go with 10 effective content marketing strategies. So we'll go next. And then we'll do a blog post outline. So you can see here, it's got the title, the description, different suggested paragraph headers. And again, you can regenerate these if you don't like these headings. And then we'll just go generate blog post. Give that a minute. You can see here, we've got the tip, always check content before publishing. Good tip. Second to load. And as you can see here, a beautiful blog written by me. And you can see, and then you can kind of edit within that. So I'll show you can do this with other types of content as well. But say, if you want to kind of edit that a bit more, you've got your AI content system here. If you want to rewrite it a bit, if you want to expand on it, if you want to change the tone to make it more, oh, that one's not working there. I'm going to change the tone to make it more friendly. You can also do that. And then you can just insert that there. So that's kind of in terms of that blog creation piece. And then, as I said, we saw earlier that one of the top ways you're using it is to really optimize content. So say if you have created like, maybe this is a landing page for a webinar. Like I know I create a lot of landing pages for webinars and I use this tool to help me create the overview. Say, for example, if you have got like, you've got the heading already, but maybe you want to, again, edit some things, you can select all there. And then again, your content assistant is there to maybe shorten it, change the tone, rewrite it, etc. Or if you want to use it to create entire kind of more like change the title or create like different headings, if you use the slash command, you can use it to generate headings, images, different subsections. So maybe here we'll try create an image. And since it's to do with time savings, I'll say a colorful block. Since this is an image, it might take a few seconds. Yes, they are very colorful. So again, you might want to make it like you could say refine it by making it more professional, but you could easily then you could select that and then insert that in your file. So this really, these AI assistants across the tool, you can really use anything. So say if it is, again, like email marketing, if you're using it to create your newsletter, you can see here, same thing, you know the deal now. You've got our content assistant there. So it can really help you, just save you time ultimately. And that does start to add up then, even starting to use AI and these things like editing your content and helping you to ideate and create content. Maybe you will start out with saving 1 to 2 hours a week, like someone said earlier, but then over time, as that accumulates and you build an AI more to your kind of marketing and sales kind of day to day in your workflows, that could turn into the 12.5 hours that we got in that stat earlier. So one last one we do have, I know social came up as the top one. So here I am just in the social media tool in HubSpot. Again, we've gone into create a social post, got our handy AI assistant here. So I'm going to say a fun social post about how to be more sustainable while traveling. So we'll just let that generate. And then you can see here, that's pretty long. So you might want to insert that, but then use like edit that as well to kind of really refine that down. You can see here, you can edit more there. So yeah, just a couple of ways that you can use AI, as I said, and I'll kind of go back into the main tools here. So a couple, before we kind of start to wrap up and go into questions, just a couple of additional tools on kind of how to use some of these tools correctly. So I would say leverage AI tools to really supplement your existing content strategies. It shouldn't be the underlying basis of everything, in the same way that you shouldn't, automate everything. You should just use it to supplement your existing strategies. With any AI tools, really put your own spin on it and personalize it. So again, you don't want some really generic social media post. You want to like use AI as that assistant to really help you generate that content, but then make sure it's really personalized for your brand. Again, if like you and all your competitors start creating all the same social media posts and blog posts, it's going to get kind of boring over time. So making sure to personalize it. As I mentioned earlier, with like creating images or creating copy, be really clear and specific with your prompts. The more specific, the better, and that will really improve the outcomes. And then with those outcomes, those outputs, really reviewing that to ensure accuracy. So there are, like, we know that AI models, terms like hallucinate, like they might, it could be like, and the information might not always be as up to date, etc. So always kind of reviewing those outputs to make sure it's accurate. You don't want, crazy amount of emails going out to all your customers and prospects and it's completely wrong. So making sure to, as I said, review that. Be selective about the AI tools that you use. There's lots out there, but yeah, just making sure you're being selective about what you use. You don't have to use everything. And then on that point as well, kind of really start small, test, track your outcomes and scale. So you don't have to do everything everywhere all at once. I think that's a movie. But as I said, really even starting to implement it with, try it out on something lower lift, like creating those social media posts, or using it for, in your day-to-day when you're trying to like think of ideas for like what blogs to create based on the key trends in your industry. So yeah, starting small, testing. So seeing what works, what doesn't work. What kind of is this, as I said, kind of meeting your goals, and then really tracking the outcomes. And then at that stage, kind of trying to scale that up. So, if you've seen that, these certain blog posts are performing well, etc., really kind of scaling that up. So just a couple of tips. So I'd love to, again, a bit of interaction. So I'd love to hear maybe what's the one thing that you're maybe going to try implement from this workshop, hopefully based on, I heard a couple of the challenges earlier people had with deciding on, what content marketing to do. Is there one thing that you're going to try to implement or that you're inspired to do from this workshop? It could be, blocking off time to create social media. It could be that you're going to go away and talk to your team about what content marketing you're going to focus on. Thanks, G. So publishing more blog posts. Nice. Yeah, blogging is a really great way to engage. Using Jasper AI for images, as Pexel photos look more corporate these days. Nice. Thanks, Will. Just give it about 30 more seconds, and then people want to kind of think about it in their own time in terms of things that you can implement if you want to watch the session back. So social media posts with AI. Thanks, Will. We'll go into questions, Louis, in the end. John, be more specific for your personas and use AI for ideating content for each. Nice. Yeah, I definitely think that ideation stage. That was probably probably my gateway into AI. I first started using ChatGPT when I was trying to think of ideas for a campaign we were doing in December. So it's a good kind of gateway. Enrique, you want to upgrade your current version? Nice. Thank you. And Anthony, yes, I believe Matt will be sharing the recording. Yes, and the deck. Perfect. So thanks everyone for sharing. I'll share this QR code one more time. Again, just leave that there for a few seconds before we kind of move to Q&A. Perfect. So thanks everyone. Happy to take any questions. I know, Matt, I think there was maybe one or two in the chat, or people kind of mute themselves, whichever they are comfortable with. So I think sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I can dive in with a couple that I've noticed come in and sort of slightly in reverse order. Any recommendations on the best tool for SEO? I guess that's sort of blogging content, in your experience.
Yeah, so I am biased here, but we do have SEO AI tools with HubSpot. So we do have a keyword research tool and a couple of other ones. So I would say some of the HubSpot AI tools, and then again, HubSpot can help kind of that blogging part as well.
Okay. An earlier question, how can I use AI to find out what my customers are seeking most? What type of content are they most responsive to? So I guess it's interesting. People have sort of thought that generative AI is generative AI, and I guess people kind of which is they're large language models, and they're not actually, as it were, there's an artificial insight there. So I would interject that you probably can't use generative AI tools to answer that question directly. It's A/B testing of generative AI content to see which is working best for you is the solution there, in
Yeah,
my
no,
opinion.
I would agree. I think, yeah, I think definitely A/B testing, because as I said, you can kind of do AI to do a bit of like, as you saw there, it is quite limiting. I was trying to ask ChatGPT, oh, what should I create? It's very generic. So yeah, I'd say definitely the A/B testing be a good call.
Okay. Any further questions that anyone would like to drop in the chat?
Great session. We learned a lot about how we could leverage AI in content marketing and save a lot of our time. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for joining.
Great stuff. I mean, and I guess you did a little bit earlier. Myself, I've not used AI so much for email content writing. Have you got any particular sort of case studies or maybe some examples you can share of the uplift that you've seen, sort of like in terms of conversions rather than just time saved, maybe?
I don't have data to spare, but I
Empirical
definitely
evidence.
any what, sorry?
Empirical evidence, as
Empirical
it's
evidence.
yeah.
No, I mean, we have, like, I definitely think using it, as I said, like for kind of doing outlines for newsletters and things like that,
Mhm.
can increase those conversions. I suppose it just, yeah, it just depends. I think I kind of think of it more in terms of time savings, but can definitely have, like, say, I guess you could use it for
So
we
I
have
guess
new
I guess
HubSpot content on, like, on personalization. So AI can also help, I suppose, with that personalization piece. I'd say that's the main one, because if you think about it, I know, say in HubSpot again, we have certain things, we have like personalization tokens, etc. But AI can create that personalized piece, which can increase that kind of that conversion, which is what we've seen as well. Yeah.
okay, that's great. I guess my thinking there was has AI and I think this is maybe still a bit of an underlying message. AI it's not quite as far advanced as we think. So maybe
No.
if you trust in the AI completely to improve on a human, it doesn't seem to be entirely successful. It can't replace you. It
No.
can save you time, make you more effective with your time, but it
Hmm.
doesn't fully replace you in terms of whether you're going to use AI. If you get AI to write your email marketing for you, it's not necessarily going to get a higher conversion rate than what you've written yourself. But what it can do is help you to get to the best conversions better by creating multiple versions, allowing you
Hmm.
to tweak and tune, all within a time frame that would normally have been too expansive for a startup founder in the past.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It definitely can't replace human completely. I'd say think of it more as that kind of co-pilot that can help you rather than replace you.
Okay. Great stuff. Just while I've got your attention, if you mind if I swap out the screen, if you
Yep.
could stop sharing, I'm going to jump on to sharing one of our codes, and we'll still, if there's any further questions from our audience, we've got a little bit longer here. Bear with me, and I will share this tab. You should have both codes on screen now for the Entrepreneurs Collective and HubSpot. Well, this is one very much for you, Anna. Can I
Yeah,
still
yeah.
use
I'll
the
think.
30% renewal?
So John, the answer is HubSpot. The HubSpot for Startups discounts are actually only on professional and enterprise anyway. So if you're only using Starter, you could use it, and you haven't used HubSpot for Startups before, you could use it for your upgrade, but it's only pro products. And so, yeah, that's kind of the answer there. But I know that the Starter suite, you've got like kind of a discount already there. So I'd say unless you want to upgrade, you're all set. Thanks, John. Any recommendation for short animations for ads? I'm not sure on the ads front, to be honest. I know we have like image captioning for videos. I'll need to check on the ad specific front for animations and get back to you, James. For real. Yeah, I'll need to check that with our ads team. Thanks, James. If you want to, I'll pop in my email here. Just so, because I might not have your contact details. Here we go.
You mentioned some features that are currently in public beta. Is there anything you can reveal to us about the sort of the HubSpot roadmap for AI enhancements without giving away trade secrets?
Yeah, I suppose I am conscious of what is out and what isn't. We do have a public product roadmap. I'll maybe pop it in the chat. Um, the ones I did mention that are kind of like the ones we have live are those AI assistants across, as I showed, like email marketing, blogs, etc. More recent ones are using AI for your sales forecasting. So again, that's a good example of like leveraging past data in HubSpot. So say leveraging past close one deals and kind of the intricacies there to forecast future deals. But I'll maybe put in the product roadmap just because I don't want to reveal too much, but we do have a lot of exciting stuff. So I'll pop that in there. So I've got, oops, I think I just put my presentation there by accident. A lot of tabs going. So that should have a link. Oh, you can see there, if you just scroll down there, you can say view the roadmap, and that has all the details there in a PDF.
Earlier on in today's chat, I dropped in that I thought blogging, well, I was really surprised by the sort of the low ranking of blogging as an area where people think that they can save a lot of time using AI. And then I kind of pondered on this, and blogging was something I did when I was a founder sort of 20 years ago in the early days of SEO. It was great, but if you're on a budget, you know, it's your own sweat equity that you can put into blogging, and it's no longer the tree for your grandchildren to sit under. You know, Google ranks things incredibly fast, and I know Owen from HubSpot, when we previously worked with him, is a big advocate of blogging content, you know, utilizing guest writers and sort of that kind of thing. Where do you see the search engines pushing get back against AI generated content, or do you think there will, or there's a conflict there between you know, Google has always sort of had this, obviously Google being the major search engine, this authenticity. It wants real content by sort of real people, and in the original days of search engine optimization, there was products like word tumblers that would write, you know, barely legible but SEO optimized content, and Google clamped down hard on that. Do you think that there's going to be a clash of search engine optimized, you know, search engines and AI content writers?
I think, again, HubSpot did some research on this a few months ago. My kind of take on it is it's hard to know, like, if they will in the future. I know Google are always coming out with new updates. I know, like, say, like last month they had that spam update, which really has kind of turned some email things upside down. But with Google, I don't think they necessarily penalize AI content specifically. I think it's more if it's just bad quality content. So I think if you're thinking of creating that content but still maintaining quality in that content, then that's kind of the main thing to kind of to keep in mind, is still maintaining that quality. But again, it's hard to know what the future will hold. Because the danger as well is that we'll be flooded with even more content that we have now, but it really is maintaining. So that's why it's important to maintain that quality and maintain kind of your brand tone of voice and kind of still that differentiation piece, even if you are using AI tools to help you generate content.
Okay. Hitting that same theme again. AI is a co-pilot, not a replacement. I think. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Great stuff. You mentioned the Google, not on AI content topics, but if you want to bring everyone up to speed on Google, and I think Microsoft and Yahoo implemented the same rules at about the same time, the anti-spam legislation. If you're prepared for it, or I could give my take on
No,
it.
you're fine. I mean, it's something, you know, we actually, you know, I'm on partnerships team, but we kind of sit under marketing, so it'd be very, very much top of mind. So yeah, I suppose I think it was from February 1st. They announced it in advance that they would be implementing it. I think we've known since maybe December or so that Google would implement new basically updates that if your email is sent to an inbox trigger, I think it's a more than like a 1% spam rate, then your email domain will actually be blocked. So it's just to, I suppose, this kind of reinforces, like, it kind of is a good excuse to get your email marketing best practices up to date. Like, it should be those things I've talked about, is like providing helpful content, not spamming people, making sure like you have good delivery rates and reaching their inbox, because otherwise there can be disastrous consequences in terms of your whole kind of domain being blocked. So that was kind of the main one, is that kind of that spam. I think it's like a very low threshold, as well as like below 1.2% or something, or even lower maybe.
Yeah.
Has that been something that's
actually
has affected your organization as well?
No, because we use HubSpot, we have pretty regular in HubSpot notifications that this
Yeah.
was coming. So this was actually really useful.
Oh, nice.
Not only so it was triggering to us, like verify your DKIM, your SPIF, etc. All the sort of the technical settings, but then making us well aware of the upcoming changes, because we are a big HubSpot email newsletter user. So the in HubSpot notifications to make sure that we were aware of these changes, and that all of our settings, and it even gave us a little kind of color code of what we needed to address well in advance. So yeah, I was a big fan of that, having that in place. So yeah, hopefully that's additional useful knowledge for our founders this evening. Although it's not AI content marketing, still an essential marketing knowledge to have.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else from anybody in the chat? Otherwise, I think we might conclude this evening's presentation. Of course, if you have any further questions, you can scroll back up there and find Anna's email address and her LinkedIn. Of course, all of our contact details have also been shared there. And do take the opportunity, as Anna said, to scan those QR codes, even if you're not ready now. Save them for when you are. And take advantage of the discounts available from both ourselves at Entrepreneurs Collective and HubSpot. And it remains up to me to say a big thank you to Anna for this evening's presentation. I hope you all found it as useful as I did. And we see some thank yous coming in the group there, so we really appreciated that. And like I said, reach out to Anna or myself if you have any further questions, and I will let our founders get back to burning the midnight oil. I'm sure there's plenty of work for you guys still to do today before you call it quits. That is the entrepreneurial lifestyle that you've embraced. So please all enjoy the rest of your evenings. Thank you very much for joining, and I look forward to seeing you all at our events very soon. Good night.
Cool. Thanks everyone. Thanks for joining.